Ladies and gentlemen, start the counter because this is video number 1 out of the 250 something I'll probably end up doing on Avengers 4. Now yes, some of you might think this is actually the second after we published Avengers 4 fan theories and why they work, but no! Now if you study it hard and look for all the clues, you'll notice that I say it's a year away despite it only being 4 months, and my hair is slightly blonde despite my lovely mousy shade coming back through in September. All tiny inconsistencies that point to a larger truth. A truth that it was recorded in July. And it's that level of nerdy scrutiny we're now about to apply to the Endgame trailer. Marvel loves to scatter little clues here and there, as well as the odd red herring, so there's much to be learned from those 2 minutes 35 seconds. My name is Adam Cleary, and these are 10 new Avengers 4 theories from the Endgame trailer.
Hey, just quickly to pop in before the list actually starts, I just want to talk to you about That Film Theory. If you don't know what that is yet, it's a brand new channel that's going to be about video essays, cinematic experiences, a bit more relaxed approach. Hopefully we'll see you there. You can find the details down below.
Number 10, Captain Marvel saves Tony. I'm going to do my level best in this list to make sure that the theories are at least partially substantiated by as much evidence as possible, so just to get the flimsy one out of the way first, Tony's source of salvation is Captain Marvel. Why? Because he's stuck in space, and she can fly in space. Now, admittedly, there was some talk of noted actress/vagina steamer Gwyneth Paltrow posting some spoilers of a rescue suit, which led to talk that she'd be the one to save her husband, but given that he's in the middle of the galaxy, that feels a bit of a stretch. One person it's not a stretch for, though, is Captain Marvel. She likes space, you see, and is going to be in Endgame, we've been told. Yes, that's pretty much it. That's all I've got for that one. She's gonna save him, because she just is. Moving on. Number 9, there's more to Shuri's sudden disappearance. One of the most stealthy yet substantial reveals of the entire trailer is that of a hint towards the fate of Shuri. The last time audiences saw her was during Infinity War's battle in Wakanda, where she was attempting to separate the Mind Stone from Vision's head. Now, admittedly, it doesn't go overly well, but she definitely survives the Black Order. We just don't see what happens to her after the snap. But in the new Endgame trailer, there's a shot of Banner looking at a screen full of all the dead characters, indicating that she got dusted along with half of the universe. There is, though, no way things are that simple. The Russos, yes, those Russos, said they couldn't reveal her fate for fear of spoiling Avengers 4. They had no problem talking about other characters, but simply would not engage on Shuri in multiple interviews. Meaning, one way or another, she's crucial to the story and can't simply have been snapped. Probably. Number 8, Hawkeye's family were dead before the snap. Want some Hawkeye, do you? Well, ha ha ha, now you can have all the Hawkeye in the world, or something like that. Yes, anyway, Jeremy Renner shows up in the trailer in a handful of brief shots, killing a lot of people with a sick sword. Very normal. What's not normal, though, is that last we heard, Clint had taken a deal to protect his lovely family, so something's gone horribly awry somewhere. The natural assumption being that they've been snapped, and that's what's turned him into Ronin. Because, by the way, that's Ronin. However, there's a strong implication in the trailer that very little time has passed at all. Nat in particular looks virtually identical to the way she did at the end of Infinity War. Now, and I can only speak from deep personal experience here, but scary ninja training takes you years to complete. So if indeed something has killed Barton's family, it must have happened before Thanos, just like it did in the comics. Number 7, it all goes according to plan. The Russos, yes, those Russos, and yes, again, once told us they couldn't reveal the title of Avengers 4 because it was itself a potential spoiler. Now, of course, we know it's Endgame. It did admittedly feel like deliberately cryptic nonsense at the time, but it now makes a lot of sense as we've heard that word twice before. First time was in Avengers Age of Ultron when Tony quite prophetically says, "We're the Avengers, we can bust arms dealers all the livelong day, but that up there, that's the Endgame." Then of course there was the far more recent and very on-the-nose utterance in Infinity War when Strange says, "We're in the Endgame now." Thus, the new title firmly supports the long-held theory that Doctor Strange may have purposely done something to the Time Stone before he gave it to Thanos to help ensure they won in the long run. Strange, literally a master of time, references something Stark said 2 years prior when explaining his plan. As for what that is, though, we'll just have to wait and see. Number 6, it doesn't all go according to plan. Yeah, just to flip that one on its head slightly, things might not actually go to plan at all. At least not for most of the film. If we're rejoining our heroes anytime after Infinity War, it's likely they'll be trying to do something. Anything, in fact. One theory during the rounds is that their first major plan spectacularly fails, and that scene of Ant-Man banging on the front door is actually the turning point in the film. A second chance to fix everything, a light at the end of the tunnel, call it what you will, it's the turning point. The only delicious morsely crumbs of evidence we've got for this are the two vastly different looks sported by Captain America in the trailer. Specifically that in the second part, his face looks suspiciously smooth, almost as if he had a beard digitally removed to mask the two different time frames. Mind you, Ant-Man appearing might not be a good thing. Number 5, Ant-Man Is A Scroll. Yeah, just gonna hold my hands up here and say this is actually a Scott Tailford original, and I'm not overly sure about it, so I'm just gonna throw it in. Thanks, Scott. I'm sure that probably made sense. Number 4, Diverging Avengers. One of the most emotional scenes in a pretty emotional trailer sees Captain America and Black Widow formulating some sort of plan/farewell. "It'll work, Steve," she says. "I know it will," he replies, "because I don't know what I'm going to do if it doesn't." Incidentally, the exact same exchange that recently took place between Jules and a urologist, but that's none of my business. This feels distinctly like Cap leading one leg of the team on one journey, while Black Widow takes the rest of them elsewhere. The former going, say through some realities and back in time with Ant-Man. Just a thought. It's always been a safe bet that Avengers 4 would feature multiple threads of different teams of Avengers, much like Infinity War did. But this trailer seems to explicitly indicate that the team will be splitting into at least 2 groups. Number 3, Steve stays in the past. Call this one tenuous, and I mean, go on, I dare you, I literally wouldn't hear you if you did, but that lingering shot of Peggy Carter in Steve's compass felt like one of the heaviest emotional beats we've ever seen in a trailer. They effectively buried that story and nailed it shut when Steve, kissed the great niece of his dead girlfriend of the past, mere days after her death. Yeah, it's probably actually a bit weird, that one, but we'll let it go. Clearly, though, the best way to get over someone isn't to get under a relative some 70 years their junior, and Cap's longing look at his old compass indicates that he'll be seeing her again very soon. Now, in a movie that will feature time travel, that's no real shock, but with the universe's greatest threat vanquished, a man out of time could feel very at home in the past, especially with someone who still owes him a dance. Number 2, Nebula kills Thanos. If you had told audiences that one of Thanos' daughters was going to be unequivocally murdered during Infinity War before its release, almost everyone would have put serious money on Nebula. But, I don't really want to talk about what actually happened. The trailer only features a few shots of Nebula, but one of them crucially includes one of the brightest lens flare-inducing sunlight motifs that we've seen throughout the series. Now, if you're not already familiar with the huge importance of the sunlight motif throughout the MCU movies, then definitely look it up. There is not the time in this video for me to go into it, but it's very, very important. This and a few other teasers from throughout the character's past are enough evidence to suggest the narrative arc will stay true to the comics, and Nebula will be the one who kills Thanos. After being tortured and abused by him for her whole life, and then Gamora being killed, the only way for Nebula to really become a hero and free herself is to kill her dad. Number 1, Thanos is a good guy? The most striking theory of all comes from not what the trailer shows, but rather what it doesn't. What if Thanos isn't actually the antagonist of the film? The trailer only briefly shows the big lad, his armor hung up as he enjoys his self-imposed rest, and then kind of avoids him for the rest of the runtime. On the one hand, this is a concentrated effort to focus on the Avengers' struggle to undo the damage he's already done, but on the other, they might wind up facing an even bigger threat in Endgame. One who was briefly teased in Infinity War. In the scene that I definitely don't want to talk about, where Thanos gets the Soul Stone, a portal opens up above him before the film abruptly cuts to black. There is precedent for this in the comics, as Thanos has to face some of Marvel's even bigger baddies like Galactus in the Infinity Gauntlet storyline. He even eventually turns into something of an anti-hero after being defeated, and Endgame might just see him following the same path, possibly even resulting in him teaming up with the Avengers themselves. Yeah, actually no, that just felt wrong to say.